Okay, so we are going to talk about viral reproductions today, and it's a little bit different. Actually, it's a lot different than bacterial reproduction since they typically are very different than viruses. The way they reproduce is by something called binary fission. Most bacteria will. Viruses are a little bit different just because of the nature of what a virus is. If you remember when we talked about viruses, they are different because scientists don't know whether to classify them as alive or dead. They don't have organelles, they have a little bit of nucleic acid in them, and then they're surrounded by a protein coat that we call a capsid. Okay, so just a little bit of an introduction again to our viruses. But how this is going to work for viral reproduction is because the virus cannot reproduce on its own, it must attach itself to a host cell. So once it's able to find cells in your body, it will attach itself to a cell, we would be the host. It'll find a cell to attach to, okay? It will inject its nucleic acid into the host, and it can be either DNA or RNA. It doesn't matter, but it will do that. And then that viral nucleic acid will use the cell's own machinery, so our own machinery, to make more viruses. So once it's able to use the cell's organelles and reproduce, now we have more viruses. Viruses sometimes will destroy the cell right away by bursting open. Once it does that, it does kill the cell immediately, and then it'll escape to infect new cells. When this happens, we call it active viruses because at the moment, that's what it's doing. It's being active. It is destroying and infecting new cells as it has bursted open. However, you do have such things as a latent virus because some of them will not kill right away. Okay, because what happens is that that viral DNA can remain inactive inside of those cells for months or even years. It's almost like it's dormant, like it's sleeping. Okay, and that can happen. Now, what makes it active again is when the host cell goes through mitosis, that viral DNA will be replicated and passed on to the daughter cells. So even though this virus may be dormant and latent right now, if it's in the cell and your cell goes through mitosis, which we've talked about, they do constantly, then that virus is just being passed on to the daughter cells that were duplicated through mitosis, okay? So what signals the virus to activate, again, is it'll destroy the host cells and seek new cells to infect. So once it starts to destroy the host cell it was on and look for new cells, that's when it becomes active again. And that is how our viruses will reproduce.